maitetheka ila siana mbate siathani siaminwa nena ya unendu siona Elisa sionota mutumia wa ndoa andu amwe maitetheka Elisa kuye na mauta make bataingwa potential kandi ndetinge asia isembanya na metenzi yoni na mambo andu amwe maitetheka manjeshi itasia kao kaikumbe akakolwa kaone ndongo ya Davidi andu amwe maitetheka itasia sia Yesu na business opportunity tamaa ya tumayo tasia yumia thayo andu amwe maitetheka Mosembisi witoni wake kwovo siambaye yangai Miriam na Haruni aima kwetyo musuka andu amwe maitetheka Kaini aveli metanyake na mawe ya moma yukonania kiwe univeva yolilinda na nzika andu amwe maitetheka andu amwe maitetheka Usumbi lote na usumbi wake aeka umujali ngai aeni make ikulu zosu maisino andu amwe maitetheka no ayoneka tote uswane ya miaka ya nanambao ayaka ngala wanginya ilambu ayambe yepua andu amwe maitetheka Yesu akuya tuobosie ainge makwetye kombosia makesia ukutokea chambe one tambili andu amwe maitetheka
andu amwe maitetheka wanyoyo ni wakuitunga tunge mundu wa mitu tesu itunga tungange wanyoyo ni wakuitunga tunge mundu wa mitu tesu.
It's a very good evening here at EBN TV, and this is the Spheres of Life. Welcome to the show tonight, and we expect more of your comments from you. And our social media platforms remain Somba Jeff the Legend, YouTube. No, that is Facebook, and TLP TV on YouTube. And it's always a pleasure to have you on board, because as we normally say that every story we make here, we make sure that you're challenged and you grow up, you have a change and you have a shift in one way or the other to make sure that your life takes a different trajectory in making you better, in making you shine, in making you know the difference in the styles of life that we normally follow or the path that we may follow in our lives. Tonight, we are glad to start off the month with a great man of God who will help us go through our nice topic, which is the scarred footprint. You're here, there, you challenged, and life has pushed you here and there. You feel that you just want to die. You feel like you don't want to live. You feel like there is nothing coming out or in your life in a positive manner. We are here to make sure that you're growing. We are here to furnish your life. We are here to make your life fruitful. So tonight, before we go further, it is the start of the month, and we've started off with a new song from a beloved son, or one of a Kamba musician, and this is John K that has blessed you so much. So that is the trend that we are keeping here on EBN TV. Last time we were not around because there is a big crusade that we had streamed live from EBN TV, and that was from Stephen Musioka. He is an apostle, and I hope you are blessed of the same. And if there is any inconvenience that we did, we apologize, but we can't apologize because it is the work of the Lord, and He is the only one who has made us to be alive. So from wherever you are watching us from, I'm your host, Jeff Kimayu, and on board we have Pastor Jeremy Ken, and I know he is going to bless you from your own screens. So kindly stay tuned and expect more from God, because what we are doing today is like we planting you on a new beginning. This is the second day of March 2025. So welcome to EBN TV, Pastor Ken.
Thank you. It's Pastor Jeremy Kitiku.
Pastor Jeremy. I think someone sent something and it's like I saw Ken somewhere.
Oh, I think the person that sent is Ken.
Yeah.
My name is Jeremy Kitiku,
Okay. That is great. So welcome to EBN TV.
Thank you so
And this is the Spheres of Life.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So I expect your day has been good despite how busy and how industrious it was.
Yes, we thank God.
Yeah.
He has helped us and seen us through.
Yeah.
And to be here,
Yeah.
I really want to thank Him.
Yeah.
And also thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
So what we normally do here on the Scarred Footprint, we are born and brought up in different family grounds, and you find that there are family grounds that are very rich, others are very poor, that don't teach the doctrine and the behaviors that we expect a child to grow through. So once we do this, we make sure that someone is encouraged we make sure someone outside there is growing stronger because of the challenges that he is thrown into, because life sometimes does not throw good ideas, opinions, and experiences into your life. And as we've started with a song, a gospel song from John K, and to make a step or even have a great foundation understanding for this new month, I just want to give you like 5 minutes before we begin on the interview to make sure that you just bring a word of God by 5 minutes only to encourage someone who has been going through something, or who is at this moment feeling that life is not good at him. So our viewers and audience, remember you're watching EBN TV, the Spheres of Life on board. We have Pastor Jeremy Kitiku on the Spheres of Life. So welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I want to greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. And it's great. It's a great privilege to be here at EBN to just share with us our testimonies, things that we've experienced with our walk up with God. And as I do that, I just want to share something briefly in the next 5 minutes that have been given from the book of Genesis chapter 37. My voice may not be very clear out of some busy engagement today, ministry engagement, but we thank God. I want to believe you can hear me well. And so, I want to talk about so God will never show you the whole staircase. God will never show you the whole staircase. And this is a story from the book of Genesis 37. It's a story that we all well know, the story of Joseph. Joseph had brothers, and Joseph was a dreamer. And every time he dreamt, he would share the same with his family. And anytime he shared the dream, he made enemies out of his brothers. And the reason I picked God will never show you the staircase, the whole staircase, is because a lot of people go through things and they think that God has left them. Maybe prophecies, and you're being prophesied upon and told that you will be great in your later life, or you'll be great in your life. But when you look at the state where you are in, things that do not look like what you were told or what you expect. And as you start the month of March, January is gone, February is gone, and maybe the things that you intended to do, you're feeling like you're losing your balance. You're not yet there. The things that you expected to have done by now, maybe nothing has taken shape. But one thing that I want to encourage you tonight is that God is still working behind the scenes, and that everything that you plan to do, when you look at Joseph, yes, despite the fact that when you look at his final journey, he went through challenges. He went through the pit. His brothers sold him. Before then, they decided to kill him. They said, no, let's not kill him. They throw him into the pit, and later on, they pull him out and sell him as a slave. He proceeds. He's taken into prison when he goes to Potiphar's house, and he's accused falsely, and he's taken to prison. And after prison, he's now comes out from the prison, and he goes to the palace where he is now the prime minister of Egypt. And so if Joseph were asked or was asked if this would be, or when he's going through all these things, his faith of God, he had strong faith with his God. But when he was going through all these things, sometimes if God had shown him what he will go through before he gets to the position of a prime minister in the land, then he would say, God, kidogo, I might not want the process of what I would go through to become the final product. But God would show you, maybe this is where you will be. But along the way, he will only show you just one staircase. And I love just to use this even as you go upstairs in any house, not using the lift. You go up, you cannot see the other staircase because it's just behind this one that you've just finished. And so is life. Today, things may not look up as you expect them to be looking. As you have expectations, you have plans that you've calculated very well, but at the end of the day, things maybe turn south, or things go south unexpected from what you expected. But that does not change the fact that God is still taking you to where he promised you. Because later on, the same things that Joseph dreamt about, that his brothers were bowing before him, came to happen. They came looking for food in Egypt, the only place where food was, and Joseph was the person in charge. And he knew them, but they didn't know that it was him, because for them, when people like wish you away, they think that you're done, but God is still working that which he said he will do. You're still in the second staircase. Do not give up. Do not give up. Do not give up. My sister, my brother, do not give up. God is still working on with you to just make sure that you achieve that which he intends to do in your life.
And that's great. Actually, that's a great introduction. And Pastor Jeremy, you're looking good.
Thank you, sir.
I did not tell you that.
And so are you.
Thank you. So who are watching you from different places, I think it's good to commend the man of God in studio tonight. It's always good to encourage someone. It's good to compliment someone in a positive manner, because that's how we grow. And we do with us because we belong to one another and we are our own. So, Pastor Jeremy, I would like to know how your normal day looks like.
All right. Number one, okay, my name is Jeremy Kitiku, but if you have all the time, you can call
But before
me.
we go to how your normal day looks like, we need to have a bigger introduction of you, who you are, your pastor, and another thing that you do, an occupation that you have, so that we may know. Because as we said on Scan the Footprint, we want to follow how your life has been since born today, so that maybe someone who is feeling like now the best option now is to exit the earth can get a kind of taste again for life.
Hope to continue living.
So welcome.
So thank you so much. My name is Jeremy Kitiku, and as I said, okay, my whole name is Jeremiah, and nikafupisha ndio nifanye rahisi kwa watu
kutamka.
Mambo ni mengi
kabisa.
And so born and raised in Ukambani, a place called Mudhidheni in Machakos County. And schooled there, served there in the church choir. Around class 6, I joined the church choir, started singing, started playing the guitar. That's where I started off, a very young boy. And grew, went on, proceeded to high school in Nakuru, a school called Nakuru West. There I joined the church AIC Shabab in Nakuru, where now the whole gift of singing and training came already. I already knew that God has gifted me in that area, and so I joined the church choir there. I could still play the guitar, and because AIC Church is one of the churches that are known for choirs.
Yeah.
And of course, nowadays it's not like before where you're not supposed to dance as you
Now
sing.
they can dance.
Today we can dance, we can do anything, we can play instruments and all that. And so when I went there, just as a young boy, ile unaingia kwanza ukipima hewa. Of course, I went in as a trainer for the styles, like the dancing styles. And later on now I started now introducing my songs gradually, of course, now because there were other senior guys than me. And so I would sit, give them the song, we would share, they would exchange notes and tell me you can correct here and all that. Later on now I settled down there for some time. Got married there after high school, went to college, got married, and in 2004 I moved to Nairobi. Been serving at AIC Ziwani, and mainly my main ministry has been in music. And I've been in Ziwani for 20 years, just in the music training church choir.
So before we go, you have your music?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yes,
as you still continue, I think someone from the studio will be organizing one of your songs.
Sure.
So that after like 5 minutes, we can hear one of your songs. So which one do you request that we...
We can start with Bwana Sema Neno. Yes.
So Devi from BL there, you can organize for Bwana Sema Neno after like 5 minutes. So yes, continue.
Yeah, so from I continued serving in Ziwani with the choir, church choir. There's a church choir that I used to train there, with Gillis Choir. And all this time when I'm doing all this, I had heard the call of God or someone God has spoken to back in 1999, just immediately after Form 4. And he told me, the pastor in my church in Upcountry, he told me that God was calling me to ministry as a full-time pastor. But I was, no. The picture that I had of a pastor then was not a real good a picture of them, the struggles, and more specifically in the Upcountry. And I'm not trying to paint a bad picture about it, but that was the status that I would see. These are the things that I would see, that pastors were struggling and all that, the long distances that they had to ride a bicycle to come to church. And so that is not one thing that I wanted to become later on growing up. And so I refused at that point and proceeded to do sales and marketing. Later on joined the sales and marketing field, worked with several companies, and fast forward in 2019, I left now, that is 20 years later, to pursue now the call of God. That is, God has now called me into full-time ministry as a pastor. And I went to school in 2019. I've been doing school. I've still not cleared. I'm at AIU pursuing a master's in theology, Master of Divinity in Theology. And because of a few challenges here and there, COVID happened. We took a break. Later on, my dad fell sick, and he succumbed to at the same time, and so readjusting to those dynamics became a challenge. But I want to thank God that I'm now concluding writing my project right now, and so I'm so grateful to be here.
Great. And before we move on, what is the difference between theology and divinity, or what is divinity?
Divinity is just the study of God. You're looking at God as a whole. And theology is just the study of God. And I think why the schools are picking divinity, they're looking, because divinity is just that thing that you cannot really see, but controls like everything that we have. And I want to believe that is God. And so, like for example, if you have for this course, if you have like a different a profession that you've done, and you want to pursue theology, instead of now having to go and start from the diploma, bachelor's, and now masters, they allow you to do now what they call now masters in divinity in theology, which takes a little bit longer. It's 3 years, the master's program, but and full time. It's not part time, and so that allows you now to like really get deep to it, because now you've not done like the basic starting up courses.
Okay. Now I've seen now as you grew up, there is that something like a maiden call that is when you are very young, at class 6, somewhere there.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the experiences that you face, or even you find, when you feel like it's like there is something like God is calling me? And what are some of the challenges that you feel? It's like you are called, and it's like you just want to pull back. Do you find some kind of challenges?
Definitely. And as I said, I have been running for 20 years. Until 2019, when I accepted now to go to school, and now to pursue now the course that God was calling me. Because one of the reasons that I was giving God is that God, I am already serving. I am a musician. I'm the songs that I write for the choirs, for the worship team, I derive from the Word of God, and so I am still doing ministry, and so I didn't want. And as I say, the picture that I had for pastors in the upcountry, like I remember a pastor then that was serving in my local church in the village, would ride a bike for 27 kilometers to come to church and back. That makes it 54 every other Sunday, and we have fellowships within the week. And I know things have really improved, but then you'd find like the struggles were real. And so I looked at them and I said, this is not what I want to become. And so even right now, there are things, there are challenges. When I was quitting now employment to go now to theology, to do theology, I must say I was doing very well. I was doing exemplarily well, because I was working, I'd grown through the ladder. I was a general manager in one of multinational companies, and so I had money, I had anything that anyone would want in this life. But by the time I am leaving, I am like, no one would understand me. At some point, as a friend of mine said that I needed to get a psychiatrist for counseling, because like I'm living when it's at the peak of my career to go, and in fact this is what he said, and I want to quote him verbatimly. He said, wewe unaacha kazi uende ukaombe sadaka. And that thing is still fresh today. And they would not understand how it has been with me and God, because by the time I'm leaving, I had received strangers coming to me that they're being sent by God. And number one, from where I come from, the church that I'm coming from, African Inland Church, we did not believe into those things. I mean, like God has spoken to me. Growing up, like that was not a thing that we later on. That's when now we come and understand. Indeed, God speaks. And so, someone coming to your company where you work, it's a stranger. They say they want to see you. They mention your name. You've not given them your name. They say that I know that they are coming, and yet I don't know. I mean, we've not talked. And so they come and then they say they have a message from God. In the first instance, I'm like, si pandi bego. And alone, because you're thinking like this person is just a con. And of course, we have heard those stories in the public court. And so I was really adamant. But by the time this person comes and tells you things that have been going through your mind, and you're like, wait a minute, I think this is so true. This is so true. And because how I've been brought, in the church that I've been brought, these are not things that were very common. I now start saying like, oh, kumbe God really speaks, indeed speaks. And because this person told me things that they were so true. And she says, like, if God gave me the name of the company that you work in, your name, your department, then the same God must have confirmed to you that I am coming. And that is why I confidently told the receptionist that I know that she is coming. Yet I didn't know. But when we shared, she asked me, God, you did not even have a dream? And I'm like, last night I had a dream, seated in a place, an open ground, with some nice grass, just relaxing, and someone just walked towards me with a long dress. It was like a dress, like a kanzu kind of, a white long. I could not see the face, but they handed over an envelope to me. She told me exactly that, because if someone that was in a long dress, that would symbolize a lady or feminine, and then an envelope represents a message. And so that is exactly what the reason I'm here today. And I'm like, oh yeah, makes sense. But initially I thought, kidogo. But now here I am, and God has spoken. I leave that institution after some few months, because she told me, your blessings are not in what you're doing, because of course, as I said, I had grown up the ladder, and I was doing well. It was at the peak of my career. And now she tells me, your blessings are not in what you're doing, but where God has called you into. And after that, things just went terrible. Like, you see how you know
Yeah.
this is how things work.
Yeah.
But nothing is working. Nothing, like, it's literally working. And after a few months, I left the company. And I intended to go to school, but when I went out, I received another call from another company that had done an interview 1 year before. 1 year before, asking me, "Are you still available for the position?" It was a position of a general manager, operations and marketing. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm available." But this time when I'm leaving this company, I was going to go to theological school. But when I'm called and say, "Yes, I'm available." 6 months down the road, after probation, another person comes, a stranger. She comes, she finds me in a high-level supermarket. "Hi, are you Jeremy?" "Yes." "Can I speak to you?" But then I was working in one of the chains of supermarkets as a general manager. And "Can I have a word with you in your office?" I said, "Yes." "We can talk." So we walk into into my office, and she asked me, "Are you a pastor?" And I told her, "No, I'm not a pastor, but I'm born again." She told me, "Okay, the reason I'm asking you that is because I have a message for you, and this is what message God sent me to you to deliver. That God has been calling you, but you're adamant to do what He's telling you. Secondly, God sent you someone to you, but still you didn't take heed to the word. I am here to remind you that God has called you into ministry, and you need to do exactly that." I was like, okay, yes, I remember someone came on that time when I was in the previous institution.
And these are two different people.
These are two different people. In fact, unfortunately, the first one I don't even take contacts because you see, when a person tells you something that you've never expected to hear, and then you're there wondering, okay, so you're in deep thought. So she excuses herself and thinking maybe she's gone to the washroom. That was the last time I saw her. I've never seen her again. I've never heard from her any other time. And so this second time now, this person tells me that God has been speaking to you. You've not sent you someone, and I'm here to confirm to you that God has called you into ministry as a pastor. And so I asked, okay, which she told me, like, in that dream she saw I was in a Coca-Cola, and I was in charge of a church. And so I was like, okay, then that is the case, then I'm ready to go. And so after that, that's when I now say, after this probation period, I just left. I did not continue.
Now this is the second company.
These are the second company. Of course, I'd worked now previously in other different companies, a number of them. But now this time, then I was now sure that God was speaking. After that, I went and now asked God, I want you to speak to me. Now tell me what you want me to do. Because at that point, yes, I've seen strangers. I do not doubt, because the things, you see how a person would come and tell you, like, I know ABC, and how they give in the whole sequence of events, it's exactly how they happened. And so the second one, she told me, like, someone also came to tell you about ABCD, and she told you that your blessings are not in what you're doing, but where God has called you. And I'm like, yes, I was told exactly that. And so at this point now, I'm asking God, speak to me, because yes, I've seen these strangers. I want to believe. I believe they were sent by you, because they will not lie about that. Second person will not know exactly what the first person told me. And so I happened to be traveling to Israel, and so as I was going, I made a prayer to God, that God, you used to speak to our fathers of faith in the ancient days. Would you speak to me in the same way? Would you tell me what you need me to do? And so as we went through the second, I remember the fourth day we were at the Wailing Wall, the prayer center. And so when I was there, those mornings you wake up and you're tensed, you do not know what is happening around your life, but you feel something is not right, but you cannot tell what. And so at that point, I call home just to find out if they're okay. Call my wife and she tells me that she's well. Call my mom and find out. Okay, ask my wife to call my mom to find out she's okay. She told me everything is okay. But I have just this anxiety within me that, I mean, like, things are not okay. And as I went about the day, when we went out for the prayer for the Wailing Wall, I remember when after the guide asked us now to proceed to pray, whoever wants to go and pray, you proceed and pray, then after 15 minutes you come back. So as I walked towards now the wall, I started shaking terribly, and shaking, and that trembling fear, not trembling, kid trembling, like it was like yes, like you're feeling like things are not okay. And so before I got to the wall, I just within my thoughts, like maybe I have some sins that I need to repent maybe before I come here.
True.
And so when I tried, it was just a few meters from the wall. So when I tried to turn back, to go back, to go and confess, maybe pray and ask God forgive me before now I can approach the wall, I was just taken by something that I do not know what happened. And so I felt like I was going to fall. So the only help that I had is to hang on the wall. So I stretched and by the time I was standing, I found myself kneeling. But during that time, during that moment when I was down there, in the spiritual realm, I was in a place where is all clear. You see, like how you'd be in a vacuum that is as silent as you can, like a pin, you'd hear a fall of a pin. And I'm there, and it's just all silent. Like you'd be in like in the middle of the sea. You can't see anything all sides. It's like an horizon all around. I could not see anything. And so at this point, that's when I heard, I have called you, or son, I have called you. Heed to my voice. And immediately after that voice, I got back. I got back. When I get back, I look like, for me it was like maybe someone spoke to me, to my ear, because it was, you see that familiar voice, but you cannot put up a face on it. So I hear this, and I'm turning to see maybe who could have spoken to me. And I look back, there was no one on my side. And I hear the voice of God. It is God speaking to you. I cried, Jeff. I cried because at some point, there is how I expected God to speak. How we've seen it in the movies. I am God, those voices, thunders and all that. But it was such a still voice that you could almost like miss it out. But it was so clear, so clear. And so after that, I was sure. I called a few pastors that we were with and talked to them and told them about what the experience that I had, because the person that came to call me, because after we had done with one side, we would have a head count just to make sure that everyone was there. So the person that came to call me, because I was already missing in the count, found me kneeling, and my t-shirt that I was wearing was a gray t-shirt, and it was wet. And it was almost November. Israel is normally kind of winter, so winter is coming in, and so it could not hard up where it's winter and I'm sweating.
And you're sweating.
And I'm sweating. But I could not even explain anything to him because I was shocked. I was in shock. I mean, the things that I've seen and all that. And so I went to the bus and got in, got something, put it on. I spoke to no one that day until evening. That's when I called some 3 pastors, senior pastors. They're not from my church. I talked to them. I told them my experience, and they told me that was God speaking to you. Of course, I took them back to the incidents in Nairobi and what had happened. And they were like, yeah, God is calling you. Go see your pastor, explain to him. And the journey has been there. I came back, and because one of the things that I really wanted to do is really confirm, is God calling me? Is this a call from God, or am I just thinking about my own things? Because of course I've seen one, I didn't want the call. Secondly, I wasn't sure how my wife would take it. And thirdly, I just wanted to be really sure if that was God that was speaking to me. So I come back after 14 days, and we were going. I also serve with Dr. Sarah K, the Tuesday worship that happens in Nairobi Cinema every Tuesday, and I happen to be part of the missions team that goes out. And so that Tuesday, after Tuesday service, Wednesday we were going to Mbale for mission there. And on my way just around Limuru, there was a lot of fog. We left around 3-4 a.m. And so just lying there, I thought just went through my mind, God, this one time, it's not that I doubt you, I now believe it is you that has spoken, but this one more time, give me a sign. Give me a sign that it is indeed you. And I do not doubt you, but this time I want it in public. Sitaki uniongeleshe peke yangu, nataka ikuwe in public. So we got to Mbale, first day, the second day on Thursday. When we were having lunch, one of the pastors, his name is Alan Olo. When we were being prayed for lunch, he said, "Now before we eat, Mom Sarah, one of you, I want to say something. God is speaking to me about something. One of your team members is supposed to be sitting." So the pastors were seated across when we were seated on the other side. And he said, one of your team members is supposed to be seated here with us. then the bishop there is Bishop Owiri. He asked, what do you mean? God has spoken to me that one of you asked God to reveal something to him, to confirm something to him, but in public. And then he asked, so what was the thing? God has called him into ministry, but he wanted God to confirm in public. Then Sarah asked, who? And he pointed to me, this one.
Okay, we're getting back. I think I hope you won't forget from that.
No.
Okay, remember you were watching The Spheres of Life with Pastor Jeremy Kitiku, and this is EBN TV. He is a pastor, he's a singer, and he does many things, even the commission that for at Sarah K's Tuesday worship.
Yeah, Tuesday worship.
Okay, so from the studio, we're getting one song from Pastor Jeremy.
Wanatazama watu hawa wanavyokuita Mungu, wanakuhitaji Bwana Yesu, sema neno. Wanatazama watu hawa wanavyokuita Mungu, wanakuhitaji Bwana Yesu, sema neno. Nena, 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 na tutapona. Nena, oh, nena, na tutapona. Sisi hatuna msaada mwingine ila ni kwako Yesu, wewe ni tegemeo letu. Yesu, sema neno. Wanasema neno moja na mimi nitapona, natarajia kwako. Wanasema neno, wanasema neno moja na mimi nitapona, natarajia kwako. Wanasema neno, nena, na tutapona. Nena, na tutapona. Bwana, tutazame sisi wanao, tunakutazamia wewe Mungu, kwamba utasema neno katika hali zetu Jehova. Wengine wananyanyaswa kwa ajili ya huduma yako Mungu, wengine ni watoto wa Mungu. Baba, tunaomba useme neno moja tu na watoto wako watapona. Bwana, sema neno tu, sema neno tu na tutapona. Haleluya. Bwana, tazama kina mama wanavyokulilia Mungu, panguza machozi yao. Bwana, sema neno. Wengine ni ndoa zao, wengine ni watoto wao, wanakulilia Mungu. Yesu, sema neno. Bwana, tazama kina mama wanavyokulilia Mungu, watoto wao wanakulilia, e Bwana Yesu, useme neno. Wanasema neno moja na mimi nitapona, natarajia kwako. Wanasema neno, wanasema neno moja na mimi nitapona, natarajia kwako. Wanasema neno, msaada wetu uko kwako Mungu. Tunakulilia kwamba Bwana ukaseme neno tu. Baba, sema neno moja tu na tutapona, Jehova Mungu. Kama mtumishi wako alipoomba kwamba ukaseme neno tu moja kwa ajili ya mtoto wake aliyekuwa mgonjwa, na uliposema neno Mungu, mtoto akapona. Nasi wanao Mungu tunakulilia kwamba utasema neno moja tu, utasema neno moja tu na tutapona Mungu. Haleluya. Nena, nena, nena na tutapona. Nena, oh nena, nena na tutapona.
To EBN TV, now on to the comments that you just sent to us, and we start off with Daina Mwanye. Good evening, our hosts, Jeffrey Somba, the legend. Karibuni sana. Karibu sana, Pastor Jeremy, to EBN TV. This is Dina again. This is a good song. Sante. We have Immaculate Mudhoni from Meru following. Dina Mwanya again. Wow, you are both looking good. Izosu Sina Ushuda. Sante. Okay, following you live from Eastlands with Douglas. Welcome, servant of God, Douglas again. It's an honor to have you on EBN with Douglas again. Pastor Douglas, we are giving you a call. Tutakupea sweetheart. Yes, it's true. God will not show you the other side of the journey. That's true. With Mercy Charles, I love Jeremy from Worship Experience by Sarah Kay. Yeah, okay, Mercy is someone I know, and she normally comes to that Tuesdays experience. Following you live from Siokemau, pick up my brother Jeff. This is Cosmas Mutinda. Thank you for watching. Dana again she's giving us the verse that you started off with, Genesis 37 verse 1, story of John 70's brothers. Don't allow your enemies to kill your dreams. Okay. Simon Peter Odek following from Pwani University Kilifi. Tuletee samaki na omena. Okay, with Diana Mani again, you have a great testimony, man of God. May the Lord use you more as you serve him in your generation. Diana Mani again, nice song, Bwana Sema Neno. Okay, you can also subscribe utapeana channels.
Sure.
With Josephine Jayo, amen. With Douglas again, tuned in from Arambi Estate. Mastly Acheng following, Capital M Stevens following. Na atuimbie Mercy Charles anasema utuimbie. Cheryl Mageni following. Welcome welcome, man of God, wisdom, Pastor Jeremy to EBN TV. This is Agnes Mutua with David again. With David Njue following from Buruburu. So Mercy Charles is saying that utuimbie able to play lyrics 30 seconds. Am I another song that you feel?
This is one of the songs, and when I was recording this song, I just left one of the company, in fact the first company, before I moved to the second one, and I was just encouraging myself, and because I wanted God to speak, Bwana Sema Neno, and I was just telling God to speak, and there's another one also called hili ni ombi langu, kama Bwana uishivyo, uwepo wako usiondoke kwangu. And I have another one, tunasonga mbele, of course the challenges that we go through, There are many songs, so you can visit my channel, Jeremy Kitiku on YouTube. And that is not the only thing that I do. I have also a worship session, a segment that I call the Worship House Experience, the Worship House Experience with Jeremy, which I just do worship for like 30 minutes. And this month I have some great things coming.
You can announce them.
Yes, for the very first time
on EBN
air,
TV.
on EBN TV on 13th of this month. I will be officially launching the Worship House Street Edition.
That's great.
We're going to the streets for Christ.
That's great.
Amen.
Unaanza na
Thank you.
street gani?
Ninaanza Ngara. But they lived in Ngara for some time, and so I want to first go home where I have lived for close to 20 years now. Yes.
Okay, ukianza hiyo siku nipigie.
Nitakuita. Yes.
Nikuja na watu wawili watatu. So because I think our time, I'm told, inaishaisha. Huyu mtu amesema uimbe kidogo. Tafuta wimbo moja utupe lyrics, then 30 seconds.
I can just do the Bwana sema neno. Bwana sema neno. This is how it goes. Bwana sema neno moja na mimi nitapona, natarajia kwako. Bwana sema neno, Bwana sema neno moja na mimi nitapona, natarajia kwako. Bwana sema neno.
That's enough.
Amen.
That's enough. Mercy Charles, from where you are listening, you're watching us from, I think you're satisfied. Na Pastor Jeremy is also a guitarist, so kimtaka.
I do a lot of things. I do also, I'm a seasoned MC, by the way. I do corporate events. I do, but I also attended your crusade that was there for 2 days.
Thank you.
Lakini nakaka kwa kona mahali, kuna pali unataka tuende tu ubarikiwe tu.
Sure.
Apostle Musyoka is a great minister, and I was really blessed. I was really blessed.
Well, that's great that is if you came, and I was there. I not see you. Okay.
Nilikaa kwa kona. Peter can confirm. Peter of Audiocom can confirm that I was there.
I saw a photo with Peter and his wife.
I was there.
Now I remember.
Yes.
But okay, that's great. Now, what do we do? Because you have a big testimony, you have a great story that is so encouraging, because we've not touched some of the challenges that you found from your transition from where you had the work of the manager, and now you're shifting to a new ground. Actually, we may say it is shifting or even transitioning from blessings to a wilderness. We did not cover those challenges. So I think now I give you that responsibility, because that we have like 2 minutes. So what I can do to do a favor to our audience is that you now speak to them, that you promise that you shall be coming back to finish the story. And hiyo siku utakuja na guitar, tutachezea. I'll make sure that I organize for a drum.
All right, I can come with. I have a team. In fact, we were been starting together at AIC Kasinga in Tala. We had a worship Sunday, and I was also preaching, and we had a good time. And so, invite me. We will come here and worship God together.
Actually, what we shall do is you have to come back. We finish the story. Then now we do the worship experience.
Not a problem.
We shall organize for that. So now, because you do a lot of things,
you could kindly go there and support me. Nowadays, I'm continuing a street worship very soon, and I'm really longing to it. God helping us. Facebook, Jeremy Kitiku. TikTok, Jeremy Kitiku. X, formerly Twitter. Jeremy X, formerly Twitter. Jeremy Kitiku. I use the same handle. So Jeremy Kitiku on all social media platforms. I can share my number if you so wish. 0714-858575 is an easy number. 0714-858575. God bless you, and see you soon.
Thank you. I think that is your final word.
My final word is for anyone, anyone that feels like things are not going the right direction. Trust you me, God promises never to leave us or forsake us. Living is just in the physical. Leave us or forsake us. Forsake us is so deep. And so if he promises not to leave us, not to forsake us, he is God, and he follows his word to fulfill it. And just because things are not looking up does not mean that God has left you. He is still there, and he shall see you until the end of your staircase. God bless you.
Okay, that's great. And we've had Pastor Jeremy Kitiku on the spheres of life tonight. The topic has been the scarred footprint. You've heard part of his story, and that is less than a quarter of his story. So for more and more, kindly follow our channel, social media platforms, to know when again we're calling Pastor on EBN TV. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending in your comment. I'm always your host, Jeff Kimayu, and for what is coming up, we have a brief preaching from one pastor, and from there we shall have Chris